Hi guys, this is Joy Banner, and I am going to be presenting my capstone project supporting Idaho Harm Reduction Project, and this is for MDS 495 with Michelle Bennett. Let's get started. So ever since I learned about the capstone project I'd be doing, I instantly thought of my sister's new nonprofit that she started in 2019 in Boise, and that is Idaho Harm Reduction Project. Honestly, I didn't know much about harm reduction either. My sister really had never talked about it with me, and so I wanted to learn more about it. I did know, however, that there are two main problems that iHeart faces. First of all, because it's such a new nonprofit, a lot of people are completely unaware of iHeart completely. Um, and the second problem is that those who do know about it, some of those people disagree with harm reduction practices, and I believe that the reason is because they truly don't understand the reasoning behind harm reduction. And so one of the main problems I wanted to address was educating Idahoans about harm reduction and about the things that my sister is doing to help our community. So first, why is this a problem that's worth solving? Well, back in 1971, Richard Nixon led the War on Drugs, which is a government-led initiative that cracked down on drug users. And the whole idea behind the War on Drugs was if we find you using drugs, if you're selling drugs, we are going to send you to prison. That's basically the response. Um, and so what that has led to is 48% of our prison inmates right now are serving time for drug-related charges. Um, and unfortunately, 1 in 10 Americans will have an issue with drugs at some point in their life. So, out of this issue came a response called harm reduction. And basically, people looked at this situation and they said, wow, this war on drugs really isn't working. It's really not solving anything. People are still doing drugs, and now our prisons are full of drug users. So, what harm reduction is a way of supporting drug users and seeing them as valuable members of our society, people who are worthy of help and support and deserve to be safe. The other side of this is that it also ensures community safety by preventing the spread of bloodborne pathogens like HIV and hepatitis C. So Idaho Harm Reduction has five main programs. First, a syringe exchange, which allows drug users to get clean needles and clean supplies for injecting drugs in an effort to stop the spread of bloodborne pathogens. A found needle hotline where community members can report needles that are found out in public places like parks and streets and restrooms, that kind of thing. A naloxone distribution. So that is a medication that can reverse a drug overdose. So Idaho Harm Reduction gives out naloxone to its participants for free so that they can save lives of other people who might be experiencing a drug overdose. They also offer HIV and hepatitis C testing because those bloodborne pathogens can be spread by drug users, as well as other ways. Um, and they also offer capacity building and education. So they help other community members start or implement harm reduction practices into their organizations. So Idaho Harm Reduction Project really serves drug users, but it also uh, improves the overall community by making sure that everybody is safe. So knowing that one main problem for iHarp is funding, and another problem is educating the public on their services, I thought maybe I could set up a booth at a local event. I could also do a drive for mailing supplies as they are moving toward mailing supplies to customers rather than delivering them, and they're running out of mailing supplies. Or maybe because I enjoy writing, I could write some grants to increase funding. But as I was talking to the executive director, she mentioned that she really needs an annual report to be written. And that sounded like something that I would really enjoy doing. Basically, an annual report is something that you can show your investors and possible future investors that shows what you have accomplished over the past year and what you're planning to accomplish in the upcoming year. And so the stakeholders for this annual report would be the employees, because then they don't have to spend their time writing it. Also the volunteers, they wouldn't have to spend their time. They could do other things for the nonprofit instead. The participants, because it could increase the funding and therefore benefit them by getting more supplies. And the past and future donors, so they can see what the uh, what the project has accomplished. And then as well, the general public, because it can be shared on social media or on the website to just show the general public what iHarp does and how they're improving the community. So for my innovative solution, I just wanted to show the end result of the annual report. And as I click through this, you'll notice that there are a couple of pages that still need a little bit more data, which I'm waiting on from the nonprofit. But here's the front cover, a letter from the executive director. And then we have a page for the mission, vision, and value statements. And then an overview of the 5 main programs. Then we have a page dedicated to the safer syringe service, and some data that goes along with what they've accomplished in the past year there, as well as the naloxone distribution. And one thing I really like to highlight is the overdose reversals here. So that's a confirmation of how many overdose reversals they have facilitated over the past year, which is awesome. Then there's some more information here about their HIV and hepatitis C testing, how many tests have been done over the past year, and some information about their capacity building and education, who have they worked with and what have they done, the found syringe hotline, how many syringes they collected, and then also their community cleanup events and where they have had these events. This is some information about their Sharps disposal program. They installed a Sharps container in Boise, and then also transactions by county. That was something Margie wanted to be shown in the annual report. And then here we have some more information about the team members, as well as how they responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's one of the pages I'm still waiting on information on. This is going to be information about donors and the expenses. And then these are the items that are coming up in the next fiscal year. Lastly, there is a thank you page for the community partners. And there you have it. That was my annual report for Idaho harm reduction for fiscal year 2021. In conclusion, I really enjoyed working on this project. I got to be creative. I got to meet a lot of new people that I had never met before, learn a lot about harm reduction. I learned about creating an annual report. I had never even heard of that before. And I really had a lot of fun. I think what iHarp does is just amazing. And I think they really help to improve the community in general, even, for the life of drug users and just the community in general by preventing bloodborne pathogens. And I would love to work with them in the future. I think it was a really, really successful project.